If you have a Vietnamese partner and you're preparing to meet their family, there is one word that you should almost never use to address them: bạn. Bạn. In most English textbooks or language apps, bạn is translated as you or friend, but in real Vietnamese culture, calling your partner's parents, cousins, aunt, uncle, bạn sounds very distant, unnatural, and a bit awkward. So in today's lessons, we're going to cover the essential family titles in Southern Vietnamese, plus 2 simple plug-and-play formulas so you can greet everyone naturally and make an amazing first impression. Let's jump in. So, unlike English where we can just use the word you for almost anyone, Vietnamese title depend entirely on relative age and family status. So before we learn the titles, here's rule number 1 when speaking to elders. Always start your sentence with the word yeah. Yeah. So it pronounced like yeah with a very soft downward tone. Yeah. Yeah is a polite and respectful marker. So putting it at the start of your sentence instantly makes you sound so polite, traditional, and respectful. For example, if an elder asks you a yes no question like con đói không, that means are you hungry? Con đói không. You should add the word yeah in front of it. So if you want to say yes, is có, or không is no. So when you add the word yeah in front of it, it will be yeah, có, or yeah, không. So don't worry if you cannot get it now. We'll have more practice in future videos. For now, just remember to add yeah in front of your sentence whenever speaking to the elders. Okay, let's talk about titles. We'll start with the partner's parents and older relatives. In Southern Vietnamese, mom is ma, ma. So it's like ma, but higher tone at the end. Ma. And dad is ba, ba. Very neutral tone. So please repeat after me. Ma, ma, ba, ba. Now, what if you're greeting a relative who is older than your partner's parents, like, I don't know, an older aunt or uncle? So use the word ba. Ba is like ba, but a high rising tone. So let's try it together. Ba, ba. How about the aunts or the uncles who are younger than your partner's parents? So if it's an aunt on your mom's side, which is your mom's younger sister, we'll call her as Yi, Yi. And also notice that the letter D in Vietnamese, it sounds as a Y in English. So Yi is pronounced like Yi with a soft downward tone. On the other hand, if your dad has a younger sister, you call her as Cô, Cô. Repeat after me. Cô, Cô. And if either of your mom or your dad has a younger brother, regardless, we'll call that person chú, chú. Kind of like chimichurri, but with a high rising tone at the end. So chú, chú. And also note that if they are not yet your parents-in-law, you can always call your partner's parents as auntie, so cô, or uncle, chú. So that's how you address elders. So you will see here ba, ma, ba, dì, cô, chú. And when you're speaking to elders, you refer yourself as con, con, which literally means child and is a way to show deep respect in Vietnamese culture. So in summary, for elders, what you refer to you will equal to all of these titles depending on who you're talking to. So ba, má, ba, dì, cô, chú, and I in English will equal to con in Southern Vietnamese. So next, how do you address your partner's siblings or cousins or even people within your age range? So for people in your own generation, you categorize them by whether they are older or younger than you. For example, if you're talking to some older male, you will use the word an to call them. On the other hand, if that person is a female and she's older than you, you will use the word chị. Chị. It's like chi, but a very sharp drop at the end. And if they are younger than you, regardless of gender, you use the word em. Em. So how do you call yourself? It's a bit tricky. For elders, you can just use the word gong across all scenarios like I have mentioned before. But for people with similar age as yours, you address yourself in a similar hierarchy. What I mean by that is if you talk to someone older than you, you will call yourself as em, and then you will call them as an or chị depending on the gender. And vice versa, if you talk to someone younger than you, you will call yourself as an or chị depending on your gender and call that person as em. I know it can get a bit confusing, so let's get into some practice. Here we have a scenario. In the first column, the relationship I'll explain to you, and from there, you can think of what is the appropriate Vietnamese title and how you should call yourself. And we'll go through one by one. I'll pause a bit so you have time to think. Just try it yourself first and I'll show you the answer. So let's start with the first one. Mom. How would you call your mom or your partner's mom? Alright, that would be ma in Vietnamese, and you will address yourself as con. Let's move on. For the aunt that is older than your mom or your partner's mom, how would you call that person? Alright, that would be ba, and similarly, you self-address you as con. Next one, younger male. That means somebody who's you're talking to that is younger than you and is a male. How do you call that person? It'll be em. And depending on your gender, you self-address yourself as an or chị. Right? Another scenario. How will you address a male person that's older than you? Right? In this case, you call that person as an and self-address yourself as em. Alright, next up, how will you call the uncle who is younger than your dad or your mom? Alright, that would be chú, and you call yourself as gang. Similarly, how will you call the auntie that is either younger than your dad or your mom? Right? We'll call her as cô or dì, depending on which side of the family is you're on the dad or the mom side. And similarly, you self-address yourself as gang. Right? Last one. It's going to be a little bit tricky. Imagine you're the parents. How would you address your child? Take some time to think. Alright, I'll review the answer. It's going to be gang. And in the scenario, if you're the parents, you can self-address you at ba or ma, depending on your gender. Okay, now that you're more familiar with these titles, let's put them into real sentences. How do you greet them. Here are two formulas you can use immediately. The first one, when you're talking to the elders, you want to greet them. The formula is yeah, gong jiao, and plus whatever the title, depending on you're talking to. So here, if you recall, yeah is the polite word that we put in front of the sentence when we're speaking to the elders. Gong means I. When you address yourself, when you're speaking to the elders, jiao, jiao is you're saying hi, and plus all the titles that we have learned. So it can be ba, ma, ba, cô, chú, yi. For example, when you're talking to one of the auntie, you can say yeah, con chào cô. It sounds very warm, polite, and natural. Let's try another one. How about the uncle? Yeah, con chào chú. Yeah, con chào chú. Similarly, if you want to talk that to greet your partner's mom, you can say yeah, con chào má. Yeah, con chào má. Right? And then for your peers who have similar age as yours, you actually don't need the word yeah or the word gong, because those are for elders. In modern Southern Vietnamese, it's super common and natural to just say hi or jiao plus the title of the persons you refer to. For example, if you're talking to an older male, you can say hi anh or chào anh. Similarly, for an older female, it would be hi chị or chào chị. And that's it. Try to play around with these titles, and if you can greet people correctly, I'm 100% sure that people will really appreciate it and you will instantly earn more brownie points. To help you practice all of this before your next family dinner or gathering, I put together a free one-page cheat sheet PDF summarizing today's titles, formulas, and Southern pronunciation tips. You can download it 100% free using the link in the description below. If this video helped you feel more confident, please hit the like button and subscribe for more practical Southern Vietnamese guides. And for now, cảm ơn và hẹn gặp lại. Thank you and see you again.